Hi, and welcome to week 4 of the I formation. I'm Jeff Gibbons.
I'm John Moist.
And boy, pretty good job here today. We porcupined it this week. 13-3, man.
13-3.
13-3. And you know what? A lot of people did well this week, but I mean, we picked a couple of close ones. Kind of disappointed in my Dolphins being one of those misses this week, but I mean, you know, things may change. Stick around. We're going to tell you who we picked this week. John and I actually have some differences. I think 3 in total, do we?
Yeah.
We'll let you know in a moment.
Welcome back to the I formation. Now we're going to make our picks for week number 4 of the NFL season, starting with the Thursday night battle between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Interesting stuff. Poor Big Ben going down in this last game, putting the Steelers in a bit of a sticky wicket. They are getting back Martavius Bryant. I don't know if it's this week or next week.
Next week.
Next week, because it's 4 games. Yeah. So that'll be a help. But currently now we have to hope they have to put their faith in the hopes of Michael Vick with a V, right? Yeah. Okay. See season 1. Couple of interesting stats that I dug up on this. We're both, by the way, agreeing on this. We're both going with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going close on this game. I think it might be a field goal. It's going to be a great game to watch. Smash mouth football all the way. But in his career, Ben Roethlisberger has missed 6 games against the Ravens for injury. And the Ravens are actually 5-1 in those 6 games when Roethlisberger hasn't played.
I'm not sure that Michael Vick has learned enough of the offense yet. Certainly the Steelers got a lot of weapons, that's for sure, even with Roethlisberger out. But certainly not the same team. Roethlisberger has a much deeper skill set than Vick does. So I think the Ravens are going to...
Yeah, it's tough. And the Ravens really...
One.
Yeah, and they've sort of been misaligned. I mean, they're 0-3, yes they are. But in all 3 of those games, they've had second-half leads. Yeah. And the combined totals of the 3 teams that have beat them now is 8-1. The records. So, I mean, you know, they hit at a bad time. But I think that, I just think they're going to do okay at home here against the Steelers. And, in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And they win this by a field goal. Awesome. Next comes one of the first one we're going to disagree with. And here I am going out on a limb against with the Miami Dolphins again. They're in London this week, so remember, set your clocks to get up early on Sunday. Right? And it's going to make a difference in time and scheduling, so we'll get to see a couple of extra games. In 2014, the Miami Dolphins actually started the same way at 1-2. And Game 4 was the pivotal game that they played overseas last time. Now, Philbin gave the speech. Miami went on to win, I think it was 4 of the next 5, and put themselves back in the race. Philbin's going to have to pull something similar out of his kit bag to make that happen again. I think that in the neutral field overseas, they realize that this game is so important now that they can taste it. I think they're going to beat the Jets. It's going to be a great game to watch, like the rest of some of these other ones this week. And I think that this is actually going to be a field goal in Miami, evens for season at 2-2.
Yeah. I see this close game as well. I think Miami has not showed me anything yet. Philbin is a poor coach. They need a new coach. He should be fired. The Jets have got a good thing going there. They've got a really good secondary. And Miami, Jets got a really good front of defense. Their defensive line is really good too. And Miami's offensive line is really not playing well, giving up 41 points to the Bills there the other day on defense. And, of course, I mentioned score 14. Buffalo controlled the clock. I mean, it was just...
The telltale sign, Tannehill's right side of his jersey was completely brown and green from hitting from the blind side. Brandon Albert out again. It was porous. Yeah. No other word. Yeah. I mean, he ran most of the game, and you know, you can't have a quarterback. You're not going to hit targets downfield if you've got to constantly be running out of the pocket and being flushed out. So they need to plug those holes, get the job done. But I think they're right to ship. This is going to be a great game to watch, and I think that Miami wins it close.
I'll go with Jets by 3.
All right. Next, we got Jacksonville going into Indiana. I see this as a blowout, 10-plus points. I think Indianapolis beats them bad at home.
Colts at home, got something to prove again, and they should handle Jacksonville.
Yeah. Watch for an increased running game. from Frank Gore as he slowly gets into that role there. I think he's going to get more and more comfortable. A lot of people are naysayers about Gore, and I think that as he gets more comfortable there, he will do something. It's not going to be like the Cedric Benson when he went out, when he changed teams. This is going to be for real, and it's definitely an improvement on the Trent Richardson situation from last year. 10 plus points. Houston at Atlanta. The 3-0 Falcons at home.
Falcons look great. They have an excellent air game, and of course we all know about Atlanta at home. Not so much last season. They fell off a bit at home last season, but they're back to where they were before. Julio Jones is just one of the best receivers in the game. Matt Ryan's get the ball to him consistently. They found something on the ground here now. Devontae Freeman as well went over 100 last week. And Atlanta is firing on all cylinders, and I think they'll handle Houston by. I see this one as 10 points.
I got 7. I think it's a statement. And of course, Arian Foster's still not in the mix.
No.
When I went to we're on the film here now, I was checking. It's not looking good. So even with Foster coming back, he's going to be taking limited reps probably as he eases back in. Not going to be the punishment tool that he would be normally this time of the season. So like I say, 7 to 10 points, that's a pretty good call. Next we've got Kansas City going into Cincinnati to play the new and improved Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals are looking like one of the best teams out there right now. They've been playing solid ball. Andy Dalton looks great. A.J. Green had a monster game last week. And they got a ground game too. I mean,
Dalton,
defense fantastic. Yeah.
I saw a picture of Dalton this week posing with Ronald McDonald, which I thought was awesome. But remember the 80s? We do it all for you. He even dove in, 8-yard touchdown run, got his hands dirty, scored a touchdown rushing as well. Good Dalton doing everything right. That's a great team out there, and defensively as well. I see him going, winning again.
Well, Kansas City's no slouch either. They got a good rush, and they can. I think KC can keep this one close.
I'm saying 10 points, actually. I'm thinking that because they're in Cincinnati, I think a lot at stake here. They want to make sure that they keep on the things. But everybody else in that division sort of getting beaten up and going back and forth. Cincinnati can have a chance here to really put some distance between these teams. So I think that they come out smoking. Kansas City, if they're at home, I'd probably look at this a slight difference, maybe even closer. But I'm going to say 10 points. But, I think we're obviously both going with Cincinnati.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we've got the Giants going into Buffalo, and I was surprised as hell that we both agreed on this one as well. And we're both picking
Buffalo Bills.
Gotta tell you, Tyrod Taylor this week impressed the heck out of me. Throwing with surgical precision. Some of those routes that he was throwing and getting that ball in low and down, protecting on one shoulder or the other. Very impressed with him. He's playing like a veteran right now. And I like him at home anyway. I like him to be a tough team there. The Giants have sort of been in a funk. They really haven't broken out. They're not over that first week loss, I think, with the whole Rashard Jennings thing and all that stuff. They're a team on the rise. I don't know if they have the consistency to be able to win that division like you talked about early in the season, but I think that they're definitely a contender.
I think that Buffalo's found something on the ground here. McCoy, is he in or out? I think he's still out.
He's still out.
Still out. So Carlos Williams on the ground. Big game last week. Looks like a really good running back. Very strong. And I see another big game for him in this one.
Okay. I'm saying a touchdown.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. Next we've got Oakland going into Chicago and Soldier Field to play the Bears. The Bears have done nothing really to impress this year. They've lost Cutler for a period of time. Yeah. I don't think Alshon Jeffrey's back yet either.
He'll be back this week.
Is he coming back this week?
Yeah. I heard that today.
And I think the Oakland Raiders are emerging out of the abyss. I mean, they've been the perennial joke of the NFL. We got to look at people like the quarterback Derek Carr and that running back Latavius Murray. Fantastic set of wheels. Yeah. These are big things. They're establishing the run, and it's making Carr a playmaker.
Looking pretty good on defense too.
Oh yeah, can't knock it.
Yeah. So we're both going with Oakland to beat the Bears.
Having said that, I think Chicago keeps us close.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm saying a field goal.
Me too.
Sweet. Yeah. Next we got Philadelphia and Washington. One of these great division rivalries that always a good game. It doesn't matter what side they're playing or where they're playing, I should say. Smash mouth football. And I think Philadelphia's turning a corner here. I think that I'm picking Philadelphia to win this really, really close again. Another field goal game. Only because I just these two teams always are up for each other. You know, it's one of those matchups that you get in every major sport. There's always a couple of teams, and this is one that comes to mind, right? Throw the Cowboys in the mix as well. And that division is all about rivalries. I think that they're turning the corner. They're going to go back to 2-2 here. They may smell the wounded gazelle that could be the Dallas Cowboys right now with Romo out, and of course Des Bryant not ready to come back. They're still holding their own, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes. But I think that Philadelphia needs to make a statement and keep pace. These division games are going to make a difference at the end of the season.
And they're always close games, and in these division games, so I'm going to disagree with this one. I'm going with the Washington Redskins. I think that I think Philadelphia's been favored in this one. I don't think there's enough respect being given to Redskins defense. Has been one of the tops in the NFL this year. And I think they can stop Philadelphia's offense, and I think Alfred Morris on the ground has a big game. Washington wins by 3.
Alrighty. And I see that they came out this week and said that they have no plans to trade or to move RG3. He's going to stay in the organization, which is an interesting development as well, after pretty much everyone throw him under the bus at the beginning of the season. Next, we got Carolina and Tampa Bay, speaking of rivalries. And this is the other team in that NFC South that's actually 3-0.
Yeah.
2 teams there fighting for first place.
And we're picking them both to go 4-0.
And that's not the best of it. When we think about that team, I remember saying at the beginning, one of the pundits saying, first team to 9 wins that division. I'm not quite sure that's the case now. So now we got 2 teams that are out for, or 2 horses that are out early in front. And actually, the Carolina Panthers just picked up a pass rusher today. Did you hear that? They picked up Jared Allen from Chicago.
Yes, I did.
Which is something they really needed there. They're shoring up a piece of that their pass rush.
The Bears are already starting to throw in the towel 3 games in.
That's right. Yard sale.
Looking for draft picks.
That's right. And they only got a 6th rounder, I think, for Allen. Yeah. So Carolina's
one of their previous second overall picks too. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he's gone to the Patriots. Defensive player Bostic is that
Bostic it is. Yeah, Bostic. Yeah. That was the other move today. Carolina's just playing expired football right now. Big difference. You know, give Cam Newton one of those yogurt commercials, man. It makes a big difference to your career. You know.
Jonathan Stewart is having a decent season as well.
Yeah. Well, that team I think is they've rounded things out, and they're still have a priority on defense, which is really, really cool. Picking up Allen today. I'm saying
game.
Yeah, as a divisional game, I'm giving it at home. I'm saying a touchdown. Yeah. Carolina.
Well, Carolina is in Tampa Bay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Still a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm giving them a touchdown. That was what I was reading out there. Sorry. That's me getting old, man. My arm is not long enough to read it anymore. All right. Next, we got Cleveland going into San Diego to play the Bolts.
You know something? I went back and forth on this one because I do think that Cleveland can upset these guys. Then again, San Diego is a different team at home than they are on the road. San Diego's a mess on their offensive line. Their pass defense has been good. Their run defense not so much. Ranked 3rd to last maybe in the NFL in run defense. So I still think that this is a close game. I think Cleveland will get after Phillip Rivers and sack him a few times, keep it close. I see Sandy by 3 at the most.
And Cleveland is imploding in the dressing room. If you've been following that this week, there's at least 2 or 3 players on that team that have come out and said, we don't understand why Manziel is not starting.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
And, F-bomb alert here, but I'm sure our producer can figure this up. They're saying that it's just simply that Josh McCown is starting. It's as simple as that, and that's right off the paper. So when you got that kind of dissension in the ranks, that makes it difficult. I'm not a big Johnny Football fan, the real Johnny, or the other Johnny Football, I should say. The real Johnny Football's here. But I got to say, he may grow in the role. I mean, I didn't like Derek Jeter when he played with the Yankees starting out, but he grew in that role. I didn't like other players in other sports, but, it's that kind of a role. And he started off a little rough, but, at the end of the day, if he could get the job done for Cleveland, I think you got to give him the chance. And he had a couple of, decent games, especially in the preseason. And they would say, okay, that's very nice, Johnny. Now we're going to sit you down and put Josh back out there. Yeah. And the players are starting to speak up about it now. So when you get that kind of momentum going in the dressing room, it's negative. And I think that's going to hurt that team
It won't
as well.
take much for Josh McCown to be pulled from the game. That way.
I don't think so. I think that the threshold is very low.
Yeah.
I'm saying that San Diego wins this game by 10 points, and I think that it's just a statement that San Diego is not out of the mix yet. I think, Darren, I know you're listening to us out there. They are a good team, and I just think that given the right set of circumstances, maybe a breath one way or the other, they could be a contender. Also, now we've got Minnesota in Denver, and I think this is going to be one of the games of the week. I really given the Minnesota Vikings that much of a push. Got a text from one of our viewers who she was actually at the Minnesota game this week, and I want to apologize. She gave me a hard time because she thought we picked the Bolts. We didn't. That was my fault. It was all on me when we put out the graphic. I was sitting there on Sunday watching the game saying, did we pick Minnesota? Yeah. Minnesota, a team on the rise, and I've actually picked them to win a playoff spot. I picked a wild card over here in the NFC. But the thing about Minnesota, they're playing a team in the Denver Broncos who have had really, really flat first half starts in the first half of the season, or in the first 3 games of the season. So they need to establish in the first half because Peyton. Yeah, I know they did. Peyton Manning wins them all in the third and fourth quarters. Yeah. Like punts, kicks, that kind of stuff. Not scoring a lot of points in the first quarter, especially. Now, I think that if they're going to have a chance, they got to let Adrian Peterson run ranshot over these guys, and that's not going to be any easy task with that Broncos defense. So they need to establish the run, and they need to get the ball out wide. Is it going to happen? They need to build in the first half and then force Peyton Manning to make mistakes. Not an easy task. As a matter of fact, I'm saying that it's going to be a touchdown to the difference, and I think that Manning orchestrates the comeback or orchestrates the finish and wins it.
I'm going to call it more than a touchdown, and not just because it's my Broncos. Well, yes, because it's my Broncos and because the Broncos have Chris Harris Jr. out there at corner to go with Aqib Talib, and these guys are, both of them are top 5 in the game in corners. Then you got Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware to pass rush. These guys got a great defense, and I see them shutting down Minnesota to 17 points.
You trying to sell me a car or something?
28-17 Broncos final.
I'm going to say 7 points, and only because I like you, and I think that Manning can do that.
You don't like me.
No, you're right. I don't like you, but I was pretty convincing, wasn't I?
Christ.
No, I don't like you. No, stop it. Next, we got Green Bay going into San Francisco. Oh dear. Oh. This is where you want to hear, like, I don't know, the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner or something, or, like all this crescendo
San
music.
San Francisco's going to play this one very, very hard and stay within 25 points.
Listen, I'm not even going to say that. Let's look back at the games that Colin Kaepernick has played in his career. A lot of them weren't that great. As a matter of fact, last week against the Cardinals, threw 4 interceptions.
2 pick sixes.
That's not the best of it. When you look at his contract,
yeah,
that means that the San Francisco 49ers paid him $328,125 for every interception he threw on Sunday.
It's a good thing he's not making any money.
Yes, it is. Yeah. That's right. But Kaepernick has always played well against Green Bay. He's always been able to run the ball against Green Bay, and astronomical kinds of numbers.
Not no more.
But, yeah, there's that little thing about Aaron Rodgers and the whole Alex Smith thing and the snub.
Green Bay's defense is looking good too. But.
Yeah, I think that Rodgers is not going to let him or 49ers get over his time. But I'm going to say it's Green Bay by 10 points.
I'll say 10. This sounds about right. And just I also want to say that the Colin Kaepernick $126 million deal is the most mind-boggling NFL contract I have ever heard of.
Well, I don't know. Ryan Leaf was well up there too. Yeah, but at least Kaepernick played. But here's the other thing. Here's the line on Kaepernick last week. He threw 9 completions to his team. He threw 4 completions to the other team. Passer rating is 16.7.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Right?
Ryan Leaf didn't play. Actually, he played a couple of games, but he was drunk.
Oh yeah, so they don't count. Oh dear. All right. Anyway, just putting it out there. So now that brings us, cue the next one. St. Louis going into Arizona to play the perennial contenders, and they have been for several years. They're one hair away from greatness. Is in the Cardinal or in the Arizona Cardinals defense. Like I said, 4 interceptions last week, 2 pick sixes against, and they were the first 2 series in the first quarter.
Larry Fitzgerald,
steady as she goes.
These guys have been the number 1 team in the NFC so far this year. I'm not saying they are number 1. I think probably Green Bay is a bit better than them. But so far this year, Arizona's been number 1.
They're definitely in the, I shouldn't say dog race, should I? But they're definitely out there, out front in the horse race. They're definitely they're a contender. So I think that this is 2 touchdowns on Colin. And even with St. Louis's defense going into Arizona, don't care. This is going to be 1 on turnovers and points scored off turnovers. And I'm saying a 2 touchdown cushion for Arizona. How would you?
I agree.
All right. I just like hearing him say that. I agree. Last week it worked out really well for us. Next is one that we disagree on. And that's Dallas going into New Orleans. And really, sadly, when this game comes up, usually in the season, this is a good game to watch. People are waiting for this anticipation. You got Tony Romo versus Drew Brees. Always a good game to watch. 2 fairly good offensive-minded teams that are going to, put off a good show. Now we got no Tony Romo. And we only got about half of Drew Brees, if that half shows up, because he's still not right. They're not sure if he's going to play. He took some reps, I think, in practice this week. But even with that, that Cowboys offensive line is one of the best in the game, which gives Brandon Weeden a chance to win this game. Okay. And, in the air and on the ground, that team could... they could go into New Orleans, and I'm picking actually Dallas to win this game close on the backs of Weeden. Weeden set a Dallas Cowboys record this week for consecutive completions.
Really?
Which was pretty amazing, As much as, I'm not a big Brandon Weeden fan. Of course, I'm not a Romo fan either. But you can't ignore stats. And I think that with that offensive line, this team is still in the mix. Just because Des Bryant and Romo aren't there, no Cowboys fan worth their salt is going to hang it up and say, well, we don't have a chance. They want to still be there. And I think that they have enough weapons to be able to stay close. So I'm going to say they surprised New Orleans at home, although it's hardly a surprise with New Orleans being 0-3, right?
Yeah, I think Dallas actually favored in this one by a couple of points. I'm not sure. But there's another one I went back and forth on. In the end, I just think that New Orleans is backs to the wall at home. And just because they're at home, I'm gonna expect them to come out heavy on defense, try to shut Dallas down. I expect this to be not as high a scoring game as you would think, and I expect New Orleans. I'm going to call New Orleans to win this game on the last-second field goal.
All right, close one way or the other. Yeah. I remember I picked New Orleans to win that division. So
did I.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, we got Detroit going into Seattle to play the 12th man.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks are on the rise again. We can say we want. Now they've rekindled a relationship with Cam Chancellor. Marshawn Lynch questionable. He tweaked his hamstring early in last game.
Okay.
So but even without him, I think this team is going to win on defense at home. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Way too many things to keep for Detroit to be able to handle in Seattle. Mm-hmm. They're going to have trouble hearing, much less. I just don't think they got enough to be able to go in there and make a difference. I say it's a touchdown, but only based on the defensive play. Without Lynch, it's closer than it should be.
I think Detroit is a team that hasn't shown me much this year. I think Seattle is just trying to hit their stride, and I'm going to go crazy and pick Seattle by 4 touchdowns. 28 points.
Okay. Awesome. That's our picks this week, folks. We'd like to hear yours, just like we hear everybody's every week. So remember, you can put those up on our Facebook page. You can load them up in Twitter. Talk to us there. Even send us an email. We'd be happy to read it for you. Stick around. We're going to tell you all about who we pick for Team of the Week and Player of the Week.
Welcome back to the I Formation. Now we're going to make our picks for Team and Player of the Week for week number 4. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins in the over-the-pond game this week, and I'm going to pick Jarvis Landry to have another big week. He had 13 catches this week, as we were just talking about a minute ago, and I think that he makes a difference, and somehow, some way, Miami finds a way to get that ball out wide.
Okay.
Who do you like?
I'm going to go to Buffalo Bills as my team of the week, and running back Carlos Williams is my player of the week. And I think that he's going to go over 100 again.
Well, it'll be good to see somebody else running the ball there and see how that works out for him, like I say.
Yeah, I was impressed with him.
Okay. Well, that's it again this week. We're back in the winning ways. Hopefully now that's going to continue. Different on 3 this week, but I expect we'll split them like we usually do. Drop us a line. Let us know how you feel. Like I said before, you can certainly drop in on our iFormation page on Facebook. Give us a like. Share the page. Saw a couple of new likes just today.
Good.
And starting to see some of that stuff moving around. Also, we have our Gmail account, the iFormation@gmail.com. Send us an email. You can also like us or follow us on Twitter. And we're going to be doing some more periscoping over the next little while so that we can actually talk to some people live and field some questions. So certainly we look forward to you adding us there. Okay. Just some of the things that that went on this week. I'm just thinking something. I got to mention this because this I thought was really, really cool. Just reading today, the whole Donald Trump thing with Brady, like the scandals of on, right? Mm-hmm. Trump sent him that that hat with the hokey slogan on it. Anyway, what did Brady do? He had it in his locker. And he was saying, yeah, it'd be pretty cool for Trump to win the election. So now he comes out today, damage control, because Trump is Donald Trump, and says, I'm not endorsing Donald Trump. Now, I felt like saying, do we need to get your cell phone to check that? I was just wondering, but just putting it out there, folks. Anyway, that's the way we saw it this week. Remember, enjoy the games during the week, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, but respect the game. Don't drink and drive. So that's everything for me this week. How about you?
That's it.
Okay, well then, if there's nothing else, thanks again for watching, and it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Have fun. That was smooth.
It was a fucking half hour. Why don't quit?